Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. This poll for guitar legend performances on Patreon was a tie, and on YouTube there was one vote in it. So here we are with the winner by one vote, Roy Clark with Buck Trent performing Dueling Banjos. You can vote on these polls by joining our Patreon or YouTube memberships linked in the description below. Buck Trent, I am sorry to say I'm not familiar with. Roy Clark, I wasn't familiar with until I did a video on his Malagueña, which was mind-blowing, unbelievable. Please check out that video after this one, if you enjoyed this video, of course. Dueling Banjos, a song from the 50s made famous in the 1972 film Deliverance. It's funny when they mention genetic deficiencies.
Talk about genetic deficiencies. Isn't that pitiful?
And then we get the iconic dueling banjos scene. Anyway, enough chit chat. I've been recommended this performance many times, so let's see what it's about. Already slight harmonic intricacies in there. Sorry, I want to watch that again. Of all the things I was expecting from this performance, that was not one of them. And I'm very excited, actually. I just wonder. Had to resolve that there. Now we're getting some very classical bit of music coming in there. Something that you'd imagine in Tom and Jerry, or, you know. We're 1 minute 13 in. This video is 3 minutes 51. We can really see already how much of an entertainer Roy Clark is. Of course, in addition to his musical skills as a younger person, perhaps, or at least someone who was not alive when he was around in his prime. This is all new to me, and it's amazing to see. It's a shame the video quality isn't better. That's just how it is. This is a live show, and from my experience, live shows, copyright can often be much more difficult than usual with them. Pausing, like now, helps me with that. It reduces the risk of my video potentially being blocked or taken down. So I'm sorry if you don't like these pauses. I don't either, but I have to, and it allows me some time to give some thoughts before we continue with the rest of the performance. So, the film Deliverance, where this song was made famous. It's been on my films to watch list for years. I've not got round to it yet. I suspect I probably will do very soon. I have seen the Dueling Banjos clip though quite a few times, and just a few more times before filming this reaction to reacquaint myself with it. So I'm familiar with the song. The main differences so far between the film and the song, of which there are many. Context is important. This is obviously supposed to be entertainment. There's comedic value to it. The film is perhaps a bit more serious, a bit darker. The film is guitar and banjo together. Whereas this performance with Roy and Buck, two banjos, the Dueling Banjos. The key in the film is A major, but Roy and Buck are performing slightly lower in G. So just a shift down by one note. I like in the film version how we start with just a simple chord change. Whereas the root note, the A, is present in both of those chords. And then we move into the classic scale passage. I like this because it immediately shows us different forms a duet in music can take. Call and response with chords, long sustained notes all played at the same time, or a more direct jump, and then the other person repeating. It's also a good introduction to harmony, really, you know, hearing this. That's called a cadential 6/4 because you have note 1, and then 4 and 6, moving to 3 and 5. How do we start this performance? Straight into that scale passage. But being on banjo, and this is one of the things I love about the banjo, I've always been fascinated by it, is the plucking style. It allows for this incredible amount of intensity, mostly of course due to the rhythms, but also just the sound it can produce because of that, all the notes being heard so rapidly one after each other. So in that scale passage, instead of just one note at a time, we're hearing notes in between as well. Note number 5, you can hear ringing out above, where we've just finished back at the root. And then of course, this being a live show, we have the comedic value. I absolutely love the simple I just think it's great. This part is just so unexpected. And then how he cuts it off. With a little grunt almost, like, ooh, no real words being said. Yeah, I think it's great. Prior to that, they're introducing new notes to add some dissonance into the harmonies overall. But there's this note in there as well. The supertonic, note number 2. All round, there's a lot of exciting stuff in there. So let's carry on with this performance where they've cheekily snuck in a very famous bit of music. Again, sorry, I'm just so unfamiliar with his work or their work. So I'm guessing Roy Clark kind of has this dry type of humor, which I absolutely love. I think when it comes to entertaining comedy, facial expressions are just so powerful. Wow. A little harmonic on there as well. Oh, it's great, this face, especially knowing that he's probably about to slay the banjo. It's a bad day to be a banjo. Tempo increasing. It's a shame the quality is not great on this video, because in my Malagueña Roy Clark video, to demonstrate some examples of the speed with which his hands were moving, you can play the video in slow motion and you can really see the frame rate still wasn't quite high enough to really demonstrate it effectively. But here I don't think there's any chance, because you know, the quality is not that good. I just love though, with the banjo, you have this potential for there to just be a constant sound made so much more energetic, more impactful because of the percussive nature of the strings, how they sound every time they're plucked. It gives a different kind of energy to, for example, a nylon guitar string or a piano. And just the way the banjo is, simply, I think they're slightly kind of out of tune. Not enough to make you wince and go, oh, that's really out of tune. But it's what gives them their very unique type of sound. The way the tuning works between all the strings. And because there's a natural, what's the word, vibrancy? When a string is played, it really resonates quite a lot in this unique way. When you're plucking other strings and a previous note is sounding out and they're ever so slightly out of tune with each other, it creates this really cool sound. I didn't notice that. He's changing the tuning as he's playing. Which I believe gives it that dum, da, dum. Each of those notes doo, doo, is actually him tuning down. So cool. All right, Roy is about to cook, I'm sure, so let's see. If you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, please consider supporting me. Patreon has a bunch of exclusive benefits, behind the scenes videos, additional reaction content, Q&A videos, and more. For a one-time donation, you can donate me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. And a huge thank you to these lovely people on the screen now. Tuning's come back up now. They're those two chords, by the way, I was showing earlier, that cadential 6/4 type figure. Back in for the duet. Wow. Contrary motion, glissando slides up and down the fret, moving in opposite directions to each other. What a beautiful way to end. Wow. 1 million likes on this video and I will learn the banjo and become as good as Roy Clark. I love that. 2.5 minutes in. So basically for the final third of this performance, we really get the iconic dueling banjos, shall we say. At least for me, because I'm familiar with the film version. So all of that beforehand, comedy, entertain us, and then comes the real musical part where your brain kind of explodes. I just love trying to follow on with a line in the middle, such as bum 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 ba da doo doo doo, and then you get this chromatic exit, moving away from that figure. And then they move away into this very lively musical playing, same kind of harmonic patterns, as the same chords in which order they come as in the film, and it makes you want to just start jumping around. I nearly did in that video, and then I was thinking, oh, hang on, I forgot I'm on camera. This is going to be very cringy. But I think I had a big smile on my face for a lot of that, so yeah, really, really nice. I'm going to try the slow-mo bit. The quality will not be good enough, but I cannot do it justice with words, just how effectively, accurately, quickly, efficiently the hands are moving. All right, let's try on half speed here. So whilst we can't really see, it really is useful in helping us hear how every breath, if you will, in between the main notes, in between that main scale, we're hearing a note in between, such as then up the octave. But he actually wasn't doing it just equal 1 2 1 2. It was more like 1 2 3 1 2 3, which adds this element of rhythmic difference or energy in there. Instead of just thinking 1 2 1 2 1 2, it was kind of like and so on and so forth. And then back to normal speed. It's so quick, I could get used to it at half speed, to be honest. It really helps to hear everything. And of course, they have the backing track coming in, unless it is a live session band. We can really hear the bass in there just to fill out the sound, give it that harmonic foundation underneath everything. Percussion as well, of course. Uncha, 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 uncha. And I really like how overall there aren't too many harmonic changes. The chord is the same for the most part, and then it will change, and then it will move back. So here, they'll be for ages, and then they'll move up, and then they'll move back. Now they've moved up, now they move back. Boom, 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 ba-da, boom, boom. You just want to kind of umpa along with it. And in doing so, by not having crazy chord patterns in there, it really just allows for them to be the stars. They can do what they want. They know which scales they're using. I mean, for all I know, they could be improvising here. If you know in the comments, do let me know. You'd imagine they'd practice this a lot, but I really wouldn't be surprised if they kind of just said to each other, let's go on and wing it. When you're that level of musician, I think you can. Well, that was really entertaining. Thank you to everyone who suggested that one. Did not know what to expect. And it certainly has given me the urge to watch Deliverance. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Would really appreciate you helping the algorithm by giving the video a like. Comment down below anything, maybe songs by Roy Clark or Buck Trent you think I should do videos on. Check out my previous Roy Clark video if you haven't seen that already. That will be in the pinned comment. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.